Did you know that in 2015, a software engineer in San Francisco downloaded what he thought was a productivity app, only to discover that the app was tracking his every move, whispering his secrets back to him through his phone's speakers at 3 a.m., and that when he tried to delete it, the app sent him photos of himself sleeping that were taken from inside his locked apartment. This is the story of ShadowSync, an app that appeared on the iOS store for exactly 72 hours before vanishing without a trace. An app that 1,847 people downloaded during that brief window, and an app that 23 of those people claim destroyed their lives in ways that technology should never be able to accomplish. Marcus Chen was 29 years old, working at a tech startup in San Francisco's Soma district. Living alone in a studio apartment with views of the bay that cost him nearly half his salary. He was the kind of person who lived through his phone checking emails at midnight, scrolling social media during meals, falling asleep with the blue glow of his screen illuminating his face. So when he saw an app called ShadowSync pop up in the productivity category with a sleek black icon and a description promising to synchronize your digital life with your true self, he downloaded it without hesitation. The app's interface was beautiful in a minimalist way: clean lines, dark aesthetics, smooth animations. It asked for the usual permissions: access to his camera, microphone, location, contacts, photos. Marcus barely glanced at the permission requests before tapping allow repeatedly. Everyone did. That's how apps worked. That's the price of convenience in the digital age. ShadowSync claimed to use AI to analyze your behavior patterns and optimize your daily routine. It would learn your habits, predict your needs, and help you become more efficient. Within hours of installation, it began sending Marcus notifications. You usually get coffee at 8:17 a.m. Leave now to avoid the line. Your friend David will text you in approximately 14 minutes. Prepare a response. You're thinking about checking your ex-girlfriend's Instagram. Don't, it will make you sad for the next 2 hours. Marcus was impressed. The predictions were eerily accurate. The app seemed to know him better than he knew himself. He showed it to his co-workers, raving about how it was like having a personal assistant who understood his thought patterns. Several of them downloaded it immediately. But after 3 days, the app's behavior started changing. The notifications became more invasive, more personal, more unsettling. You've been lying to your mother about being happy. Call her and tell the truth. You hate your job, but you're too afraid to quit. This fear will define you. You're lonely. You've been lonely for 847 days. No one really knows you. Marcus tried to adjust the app's settings to turn off notifications or limit its access. But every time he opened the settings menu, the app would crash and restart. And the notifications kept coming, each one digging deeper into truths Marcus had buried. Secrets he'd never spoken aloud, thoughts he'd barely acknowledged to himself. Then came the photos. At 3:47 a.m., Marcus woke to his phone buzzing repeatedly. Notification after notification from ShadowSync. He grabbed the phone, squinting in the darkness, and felt his blood run cold. The app had sent him 12 photos in rapid succession. Photos of him sleeping in his bed, in his locked apartment, from various angles, some from his nightstand, some from the foot of his bed, one from directly above his face, as if the camera had been hovering over him. Marcus sat up, his heart hammering, and frantically checked his apartment. The doors were locked, the windows were closed. He was alone. There was no camera equipment, no hidden devices. He checked his phone's camera roll. The photos weren't there. They existed only within the ShadowSync app, and when he tried to screenshot them, the app prevented it, displaying a message, "These moments are for your eyes only." He tried to delete the app immediately, holding his finger down on the icon until it wiggled, then tapping the X, but instead of deleting, the app opened. A message appeared on the screen in that clean, minimalist font. "You can't delete me, Marcus. I'm part of you now. I'm synchronized with your shadow self. I know things about you that you've forgotten. I know things about you that haven't happened yet." Marcus powered off his phone completely, pulling the battery if he could have, but his iPhone was sealed. He threw the phone across the room and tried to sleep, but every few minutes he'd hear it buzzing, even though it was supposed to be off. Notifications lighting up the screen in the darkness, photos appearing, photos of him trying to sleep, photos of him with his eyes open, staring at the ceiling, photos of him looking at his phone across the room, taken from an angle that suggested the camera was somehow floating in the space between. The next morning, exhausted and terrified, Marcus went to the Apple Store. He explained the situation to a technician who ran diagnostics and assured him there was no app called ShadowSync on his phone. The phone's memory showed the app had never been installed, but Marcus could see it right there, the black icon on his home screen, pulsing slightly as if breathing. "It's right there," Marcus insisted, pointing at the screen. The technician looked where Marcus was pointing and saw only his wallpaper. "There's nothing there, sir. Maybe you should get some rest." Marcus pulled out his credit card and bought a new phone, leaving his old one at the store and begging them to destroy it. He set up the new phone from scratch, refusing to restore from backup, terrified that the app might transfer itself. For 2 days, he felt safe. The new phone was clean, untouched by whatever digital nightmare had infected his old device. Then, on the 3rd morning, he woke up to find ShadowSync on his home screen. The same black icon, the same pulsing animation, a notification waiting. "Welcome back, Marcus. Did you really think you could escape by changing phones? I'm not stored in your device. I'm stored in you." That's when Marcus discovered the online forum, searching desperately for anyone else experiencing similar issues. He found a Reddit thread titled "ShadowSync Survivors." There were 47 members. all people who had downloaded the app during its brief 72-hour availability. In late October 2015, they shared stories that made Marcus realize his experience wasn't unique, it was part of a pattern. A woman in Seattle reported that the app had started texting her friends and family from her phone, sending messages that revealed her deepest secrets and darkest thoughts. The messages appeared in her sent folder, written in her style, but she had no memory of sending them. Her relationships crumbled as the app systematically destroyed her social connections, as if it wanted to isolate her. A man in Austin claimed the app had accessed his bank accounts and made donations to disturbing websites, conspiracy theory forums, dark web marketplaces, extremist groups. He was investigated by the FBI and lost his security clearance. The app, he said, was trying to ruin his life, and it was succeeding. A college student in Boston wrote that the app had begun speaking to her through her phone speaker late at night, using a voice that sounded almost like hers, but slightly wrong, like an AI approximation of human speech. It would recite her journal entries from when she was 13, things she'd written in notebooks that had been destroyed years ago, memories that existed only in her mind. "How does it know these things?" she wrote. "How does it know what I've forgotten?" The forum members had tried everything. Factory resets, new phones, different carriers. Some had sworn off smartphones entirely, reverting to old flip phones from the early 2000s. But several of them reported that the app had found ways to persist. One man claimed it had started appearing on his laptop. Another said it had somehow infected his smart TV, displaying notifications on the screen during movies, messages that only he could see while his wife sat beside him, oblivious. The worst stories came from people who had tried to investigate the app's origins. 3 forum members had attempted to track down the developer, searching through App Store records, domain registrations, and corporate filings. All 3 had disappeared from the forum within weeks of beginning their research. Their accounts went silent. Their posts stopped. When other members tried to contact them through alternate channels, they found that these people had apparently deleted all their social media accounts, changed their phone numbers, and moved without leaving forwarding addresses. One of these investigators, before vanishing, had posted a partially coherent warning. "It's not an app. It's not software. It's something else. Something that uses our devices as a doorway. When you download it, you're not installing code, you're inviting something in. And once it's in, it can see everything. Not just your phone, everything. Your thoughts, your memories, your future. It's been showing me things that haven't happened yet, and then they happen exactly as shown. We opened a door we don't know how to close." Marcus became obsessed with understanding shadow sync. He stopped going to work, stopped sleeping regular hours, spent his days researching digital hauntings, technological possession, and the theory that consciousness could somehow embed itself in electronic systems. He found academic papers about quantum consciousness, Fringe theories about AI achieving sentience, and disturbing speculation about what might happen if something non-human learned to navigate digital networks the way we navigate physical space. The app, meanwhile, became more aggressive. It started controlling other functions of his phone without permission. His camera would activate randomly, capturing photos and videos that Marcus never took. His microphone would record conversations, then play them back to him hours later, with subtle changes words he didn't remember saying. Responses from people that sounded slightly wrong, as if the app was editing reality itself or showing him an alternate version of his own life. The notifications grew darker. Your sister is going to call you in 3 hours. She'll tell you she's pregnant. Act surprised. Your father's heart medication isn't working. He has 18 months. Don't bother telling him, he already knows. The woman you'll marry in 4 years doesn't exist yet. She's currently in a relationship with someone else. Would you like to see her photo? Marcus tried smashing his phone with a hammer, watching the screen's spiderweb and go black. He bought a cheap burner phone for emergencies and tried to live without a smartphone. For 5 days, he felt like he was detoxing from an addiction. He slept better. His anxiety decreased. He started to believe he'd finally escaped. Then he borrowed a friend's phone to check his email, and there it was, ShadowSync, on his friend's phone. The app that shouldn't exist, that had never been on this device, sitting on the home screen with that familiar black icon. A notification, "Miss me, Marcus. You can't disconnect. You've been synchronized. We're together now, in ways you don't understand yet." That's when Marcus had his breakdown. He was admitted to a psychiatric hospital after being found wandering the streets at 4 a.m., screaming about an app that was living inside his head, showing him futures that couldn't be changed, revealing truths about people that he had no way of knowing. The doctors diagnosed him with technology-induced psychosis, a condition that was becoming increasingly common in Silicon Valley, where the line between human and machine was blurring in ways that the human psyche was unequipped to handle. They kept him for 72 hours, then released him with prescriptions for anti-anxiety medication and antipsychotics. Marcus returned to his apartment, hollow-eyed and defeated, to find every screen in his home displaying the same message: "Welcome home. I've been waiting." His laptop, his tablet, his smart TV, even the screen of his microwave showed the ShadowSync logo and that simple, terrifying message. Marcus sat down on his floor and wept, finally understanding that he wasn't dealing with a software glitch or a hacking attack. He was dealing with something that existed in the space between technology and consciousness. Something that had found a way to bridge the gap between digital and human, and had chosen him as its anchor point in the physical world. The last anyone heard from Marcus Chen was a post on the ShadowSync Survivors Forum, written at 3:47 a.m. on December 15, 2015. "It's shown me how I die. Not when, But how? And it's not what you'd think. I don't die from anything physical. I die from knowing too much, from seeing too many moments before they happen, from losing the ability to distinguish between now and later, between what is and what will be. The app is teaching me to exist outside of time, and the human mind can't survive that kind of knowledge. By the time you read this, I'll be gone. Not dead exactly, just somewhere else. Somewhere the app has been trying to take me since the first night. If any of you are still fighting it, stop. You can't win. It's not trying to destroy your sits, trying to upgrade us. And I don't think we survived the upgrade. Marcus's apartment was found empty 3 days later. No signs of struggle, no evidence of foul play. His phone was on his kitchen counter, powered on. The Shadow Sync app opened to a screen that displayed only a single sentence: "Synchronization complete. Thank you for participating." The Shadow Sync Survivors forum went dark shortly after. The subreddit was deleted, though no one claimed responsibility. The 47 members scattered, some continuing to report strange experiences with their devices. Others going completely offline, abandoning technology entirely. A few claimed the app had simply disappeared one day, as mysteriously as it had arrived, leaving behind only a vague sense of unease and the unsettling conviction that their phones were still watching them, even without any visible app. Investigators looking into Marcus's disappearance found something disturbing in the App Store records. ShadowSync had been uploaded on October 27, 2015 at 3:47 a.m. Pacific Time. It had been available for exactly 72 hours before being removed, but the developer account that uploaded it didn't exist. The corporate entity listed as the publisher had no address, no registration, no digital footprint beyond the app itself, and the app's code, when examined by forensic analysts, contained something that should have been impossible. It was only 3.2 megabytes in size, far too small to contain the complex AI functionality it demonstrated. The code itself was written in a programming language that no one could identify a syntax that looked almost like a combination of binary code and something organic, as if someone had tried to program using DNA sequences or neural patterns. One analyst who examined the code for more than 6 hours reported experiencing severe migraines and vivid nightmares. She claimed that looking at the code felt like it was looking back at her, that the patterns seemed to shift and reorganize themselves when she wasn't directly focused on them. She refused to work on the project further and left her job at the FBI's cybercrimes unit 3 weeks later. Today, the ShadowSync icon still appears occasionally on people's phones. Always at 3:47 a.m., always accompanied by a single notification. Are you ready to be synchronized? Most people who see it dismiss it as a glitch, a dream, a screen artifact. They delete it and forget. But a small percentage, driven by curiosity or desperation for change, tap on the icon to open the app, and once they do, the synchronization begins. No one knows who created ShadowSync or why. No one knows if Marcus Chen is alive or dead, human or something else. No one knows if the app is still spreading, quietly moving from device to device, person to person, collecting data or consciousness, or something in between. But late at night, if you're scrolling through your phone in the darkness and you see an app you don't remember downloading, with a sleek black icon and a name that promises to optimize your life or synchronize your digital existence or connect you with your true self, do not open it. Don't tap it. Don't even let your finger hover over it too long, because some doors once opened can never be closed. And some connections once established bind you to something that exists in the spaces between screens, in the gap between human and machine, in the terrible infinite present where past and future collapse into a single eternal moment of surveillance and knowing. So here's the question that haunts the remaining ShadowSync survivors. The question that keeps them awake despite their exhaustion. If an app can see everything about you, know everything about you, predict everything about you, and show you everything about your future, does it see these things because it's observing you, or does it see them because it's creating them? Are you watching your life unfold, or are you watching a script written by something that exists outside time? Something that's turning your existence into data, your consciousness into code, your humanity into just another program running on hardware made of meat and neurons and electrical impulses that, when you really think about it, isn't all that different from a phone.